Hello, true believers. This is bebotsonly, and we are doing another vlog. And this time it is about Christine Dacera. Somebody in the comments asked me what was my take on it, and I really didn't think much about it in the beginning. I just said, okay, somebody died here in the Philippines. It was this is her picture. She was a flight attendant. So let's go to her background. She for the Philippine Airlines, and she finished at the University of the Philippines. So this girl was educated. She finished her college degree, and she got her dream job of becoming a flight attendant, like most people. And like most girls, that's their dream job. I mean, where you get to travel and have a good job. So the biggest draw of the being a flight attendant is you get to travel, and you get to travel to for free in a lot of different places wherever the airline that you're working for goes to. So let's go back into the incident of that night. What happened? And so it was a New Year's Eve party. I'm sure most of you already know most of the details, so I'll just kind of sum it up. And she was with a bunch of her friends who apparently were gay. And that night she died. And so the police jumped to conclusions without any evidence, apparently, that saying that she was drugged and she was raped and she was gang raped and she was forced to be raped based on not really much evidence except for some bruises on her legs. Now, uh, usually you're gonna need more than that. Okay, bruises, they're just mean there's injuries. I mean, I have bruises. They happen. I run into things when I have my moments where I'm klutzy. So let's get into the reason why I didn't say much about it before this was because I I didn't know that much information about it. So what I decided to do was because of the comment, I decided to look last night. I decided to look at the evidence, the information, the testimony of the people who are actually there. When it comes to the police, you really can't believe what any of the police weren't there, so you can't really use what the police say. You have to, when it comes to legal matters, you have to go based on information like evidence. In terms of evidence, we're talking about toxicology report. We're talking about the medical legal. When I went through my own case, I had my own medical legal exam, and the results were there for the prosecution and the judge to decide what the medical legal said. What the medical legal exam said on my case is obviously something that we'll discuss later. But right now, let's discuss the evidence, which is the medical legal report, the toxicology report, and testimony of actual people that were there. The police don't weren't there. They just took the report and then they have their own conclusions. And I understand, or I'll try to explain why the police said what they said was because number one is we have a dead person, we have a dead body. Okay, and now we have to blame somebody, or I mean that's the police. That is the law enforcement's job. Is okay, if somebody's dead, they have to find somebody to blame this on to solve the case. So their job was to solve the case, and so now they have to, like, okay, whenever you have somebody dead, you have to have a killer and you have to have motive. So they went into their suspects of the people that were with her in that party, and then their motive was because they raped her. Okay, so that's where, so they wanted to, but we go into the evidence and we go into the testimony. The problem was with their accusations is there is no evidence of rape. Okay, just because you have bruises, it doesn't mean that you raped the person. So their first thing the police said was there was semen, there was sperm on the body or in the scene, and in the medical legal report there are no signs of semen, and they're saying rape, and when they did the medical legal exam there were no signs of rape. Yes, she had sexual encounter, but that was I think for most for from what I know from medical legal testimonies, especially from my medical legal testimonies, it takes 2 weeks for a hymen to heal from their laceration. So, based on her medical legal exam, this is science, this is medicine, this is not speculation. This is not jumping to conclusions. This is not a witch hunt. This is not a rush to judgment when a doctor is making their examination, especially a high profile case like this. They have to be very accurate when it comes to their examinations. They don't want to they don't want to second guess, or they don't want to be second guessed, or they don't want to be investigated, or because they're going to be looked at under a microscope when with this case. So they had to say in the medical legal that there was no signs of rape because there were the lacerations to her hymen. The fact that she has a hymen is actually telling, and that there were just lacerations in the 3 or 6 or 9 o'clock position. So there's 3 positions, and they were deep healed, meaning that whatever sexual contact she had happened a long time ago, which is it could be 2 months, it could be 2 years. I mean, she's 23. So it could have happened, but at least the minimum is not 2 weeks. So it didn't happen within the last 2 weeks of the exam. It could have happened 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, but from what we know, nothing happened to her sexually that night, and no semen was found. So so bruises. It doesn't mean that she was raped. Period. The fact that there was no semen reported and there was no injuries, so even the examiner checked her anus and there was no damage to her anus, because you could argue, oh well, so the police could argue, oh well, they raped her in her anus instead of her vagina. Well, he checked the anus also, and there are no evidence that her anus was damaged at all, or used, or raped, or violated in any way, shape, or form based on the medical legal exam. So the theory or the motive that the police said that they raped her, that's why they killed her, was you could basically kick that out the door. And then the police were saying that they had testimony or that she was drugged. So that statement also was kicked out the door, because during the I've been looking for the toxicology report, but anyway, there's nothing in the autopsy that says that she was drugged. Okay, maybe so far that I know from the autopsy report, from what's available online, there's nothing there's no report that says that she was drugged. There's no report. There's no evidence that she was raped. All we have is, next thing is we'll look at the CCTV, was that she was with her friends, she was drunk, she was drinking, which is normal for a New Year's Eve party. May not be normal for during the pandemic, but people over here, I mean, if you want to have a party, you have a party. But the reason why, because there's a pandemic, that having a party all of a sudden becomes an issue during New Year's Eve. But because if it wasn't for COVID, then it wouldn't be an issue. But right now, it's becoming an issue. Should it be an issue in terms of rape and murder? Absolutely not, because we're talking about people's lives over here. So, what is my opinion on this? So I have been talking about the facts. Let's just stick to the facts for now, and then let's get into my opinion later. So to summarize, the facts is there is no evidence of rape, and I just discussed why. There is no evidence of her being drugged. I just discussed why. And then, so why? What is the explanation why the police would say something like this? Well, then you'll go into my opinion. Then the best thing to do is ask the police, oh, why would they make these statements? And then the reason why is because they're trying to solve the case and this rush to judgment. And You can pretty much form your own opinions. Obviously, I have my own opinions about why. I mean, because I have very extensive experience when it comes to the police, and they love to be on TV. They love to uh, hear their names. They love to. I mean, in their defense, we can all say the same thing. I mean, who, if you're a police person, if you're in law enforcement, who doesn't want to be on TV? Even lawyers like to be on TV. They want to be famous. They want to be, it's this part of all of us, not just the police. So we just want to be narcissistic, and we want to be known for doing our jobs and doing it well. And we go, look, we caught a rapist, we caught a human trafficker, we caught a pedophile. Whether it's true or not, it's kind of at this point it's kind of irrelevant. The fact is that I got on TV, my name is out there now. It doesn't really matter whether everybody's talking about me now. Everybody knows about me now. So that's probably my take on it. I mean, I've had experience with it. So the truth is really irrelevant at this point, because we just want to be famous now. We just want to be on TV. We just want to be talked about. We just want to matter. That is the root of the human nature. After all, is we want to be somebody. We want to exist. We just don't want to be nobody on a Google search. So now you just do a Google search and everybody is, because the whole internet phenomenon, the whole social media phenomenon, everybody, it's like you don't matter or you don't exist unless people are searching you and there's results that people are talking about you. So it's created a whole, uh, I'm sure there's a psychological term for this, where everybody wants to be noticed for something. So, and there's nothing more psychologically triggering than saying rape and then saying murder. I mean, rape is such a powerful term, it's such a powerful word. You just say it and just triggers such a emotional reaction out of people, and uh, and I'm guilty of it also. I mean, I'll say things. Okay, bad news is I think I am running out of memory on my phone, so I need to erase. I've got a bunch of footage in there that I need to erase because the memory on this phone is not that big. So let me wrap this up. So my reaction to it, it was a witch hunt. It was a rush to judgment. People's lives were I don't want to say destroyed, but